Well, welcome back, folks. It's actually the next day, and I thought we would take an up-close look at the distributor. You can see it here. This is the back side. This is where it fits into the cam. It's driven, these lugs are driven by the cam right here. And again, you always need to pay attention to which direction the rotor is facing. This one's down. I haven't changed anything there. You can see it needs a little more cleaning. There's the condenser. A little dirty, a little oily. The gasket, see there. I'm sure, without a doubt, someone's been in here before, because I don't think the distributor cap is original to this tractor, and I'm doubtful that the points are, but I have not opened this up yet. So we'll take a look here in just a second, but I did want to give you the opportunity to see what it looks like. It's a little grungy in there. Kind of expected, I suppose. This looks like aluminum. Looks like it was painted at one time. You can see the remnants of red paint right there. I am not going to paint this, I don't think, at this point. So let's get inside this distributor and see what's going on in there. Take a look at the point. So pull the cap off. Like a little shield here of some kind. Put that aside. And there you can see the points right here. And they are pitted. Let me get a screwdriver. I don't know if you can see in there. I don't know if I can get you a good enough shot of that, but right here is the points. And they are pitted, there's no question about it. Whether they're original or not, I don't know. But by looking at the screws here, down inside of here, and a few of the others, you know, someone's been in here certainly with a screwdriver before. Excuse me. It's not very clean inside. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I don't know what that looks like, remnants of a bug or an insect. I'm going to go ahead and replace these points. I've replaced points on a Ford 8N before. In fact, this is the first time I have been inside of the points or dealt with points on a automotive type engine in decades. It probably goes back to the early 80s, maybe even late 70s. Certainly I've done a lot of motorcycles. Principle is the same, of course, but the specifics are different. But on a car type or automotive type engine of this size, first time in 45 years probably since I've been inside of this kind of a setup. So what I'm going to do now, give you an up close look at that, I think. I'm going to clean this all up. I'm going to use electronic safe cleaner. I am not going to use brake cleaner, but I'm going to use electronic safe cleaner. I'll scrape some of the worst off first. Try to get this good and clean. And then I'm going to go ahead and replace the points. Now, I'm not going to show all the disassembly and refitting of points because there are, trust me, probably dozens of videos on YouTube on how to replace points. So I'm not going to show the actual work itself for that primary reason. Secondarily is my head's going to probably be in the way as I have to get in here and fiddle around. But I'll clean it up and then I'll bring you back and let you see what it looks like cleaned up. And then I'll go ahead and replace the points and the condenser at the same time. It's about half an hour later and I got the distributor cleaned up. That's the cleanest this distributor's been since 1950. I'm pretty confident of that. A couple things I noticed is that these bales right here that hold on the distributor cap, there's two of them of course. This one on the right appears to be original. I did look up the part. It's a brass pin. Here you can see. The one on the left has been replaced with a cotter pin or a split pin somewhere along the way. I'm not going to remove the bales. I don't think it's necessary to do so. I did check the point gap, and the way the cam here that spins is on the high point of the lobe, so I did check this gap right here. It's supposed to be 15 thousandths of an inch on these early 8 ends, and this one is pretty close. It's a little bit on the sloppy side, just a bit, but it's not bad. It's probably, I don't know, 17, 18 thousandths, something like that. And it is, as I mentioned before, quite pitted, the points. You probably can't see that, of course, in there, but they are pitted. So what I'm going to do now, I got the basic cleaning all done, got the gasket removed here. It's just a paper gasket. Cleaned up the gasket surface, made sure to leave this in the original position so I don't mess up the timing. I'm going to go ahead now and remove the points and the condenser and keep them. I'll keep the condenser anyway. I don't know about the points. I'm not confident in modern electronics, things like condensers, especially when they come from the land of close enough. If this was Japanese made, the replacement, or even Taiwanese made, I'd be more confident, but I'm going to keep this condenser. I don't know if it's bad, or I don't think it's bad. It worked. Keep this just in case for a backup. The points I probably won't keep, but we're going to go ahead and replace the points, and I'll bring it back a little bit later when I got that done. Well, it's probably 30 minutes, half hour or so later, and I have the condenser changed and the points are adjusted. It probably took me longer to get those points adjusted than it did to install the points and condenser, because every time I get them right where I wanted them, then you snug up these two screws, the points would change. They typically would open or loosen. Then I have to go back and readjust, and I ended up compensating, but I did get it finally to about 15 thousandths of an inch, which is what they're supposed to be. So, but that took a few minutes. Thought I'd show you the points. If you can see that right there, you can see the tip there, the pitting. I've seen a lot worse actually over the years. There's the fixed side right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. And the movable side. The new points have a hole in the center, which is quite typical on newer or more modern points. And the only other issue I had installing them was this little split pin or cotter pin right here that holds the points onto the post. The kit did come with a new split pin or cotter pin right there, but it's too big. It's probably metric. And it was too big to go through that little tiny hole right there. Actually, and I tried and fiddled and did just about everything I could think of to get it through there, and it would not go. So I just reused the original. Normally I don't care to reuse cotter pins or split pins, but there's not a lot of force on that, so I went and reused the original. So this is, I think, pretty much ready to go back on the tractor. I'll check out the gasket set and go ahead and get it remounted. Start getting the things back together. We're going to go ahead and put the distributor back in place. I've got this area all cleaned. I can assure you this is the cleanest this part of the engine's been since 1950. There's a lot of grime and grunge down in this cavity. I cleaned that all out. The kerosene flushed it out. And as you can see here, this has all been cleaned up. The distributor gasket I've got in place with a little adhesive to hold it so it doesn't want to skew around on me. Just a little bit of adhesive on the back side of both the gasket and on the mounting surface of the distributor itself. I have put a little thin coating of anti-seize on the block. That's just to prevent this gasket from sticking. I generally am not a fan of putting together paper gaskets dry, because later on sometimes you've got to remove them. They can be a real bear. I do have the position of the cam in approximately the original position. I really haven't moved it. And this tang right here will fit into this slot in the end of the can. And in fact, this is actually directional. This tang is offset ever so slightly or biased in one direction. So theoretically, unless you were to really force it, if I was to turn that incorrectly and try to force it on, it wouldn't want to fit right. So this should pretty much go together, slide right in place. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of anti-seize on the bolts. These have been cleaned up on the wire wheel. A little anti-seize. I don't know if there's a torque setting on these. I haven't bothered to check, but just use common sense and just make sure they're good and snug. I don't use an oversized ratchet intentionally, so I can't get too much torque on it. But if you use common sense on something like this, you'll be just fine. So now we can go ahead and put the cap and the coil on. I do have the new dust shield in place that came with the gasket kit. We put on the new rotor pointing down just like it originally was when I took it apart. The distributor cap goes on next, and you can see the little black O-ring that did come with this cover, and I just put a little dielectric grease on the O-ring just to ease its transition and fit onto the distributor body. And the next thing to go on, or back on, is the coil. This is an aftermarket coil, by the way. It was made in Taiwan. I don't know if you can see that right there. I don't think Ford was buying their coils in 1950 from Taiwan, so pretty confident this is aftermarket somewhere along the way. So new gasket came in the kit. Now we'll go ahead and plug the spark plug wires back in. Again, I've got them labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the cap is labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make sure they're behind that retainer there. Now we'll have to put this lead back on the coil for the points. And we got the coil all back together. I think what I'm going to do now is try to start it. You have to put spark plugs back in, of course, but I'm not going to hook up the fan. I don't want to drive, or the fan belt, I don't want to drive the oil pump because the oil pump's dry. I just want to see if it starts. I don't want to get it all back together and find out there's something I got wrong in here and have to take everything back apart. So I'm just going to run it for a few seconds to make sure it runs. And as you can see, she started right up. So I think everything with the distributor and coil is just right. And now we can go ahead and get started with putting the cooling system back together, which is really where this whole project started. I think that's going to be it for the video today, folks. Any issues, questions, thoughts, drop me a note. Otherwise, as usual, thanks for watching.